Hey guys, how you doing? Ron Zanut here. Well, today I have a review for you. Our friends over at Performance PCs were kind enough to send me one of the new Monsoon Series 2 DDC Premium Dual 5¼ inch Bay Reservoirs. These reservoirs come in a couple of different formats for either the DDC pump or the D5 pump. I happen to have the DDC one here. So we're going to go ahead and take a close-up look, see what's in the contents of the box. We'll go ahead and assemble it for you, and then I'll put it in a system and we'll see what it looks like and then see how it operates. So with that, let's take a closer look. Okay, included inside of the accessories, we have 2 pump O-rings, and I'm not sure, one's much thinner than the other, so we'll find out how and when you're to use those. There are 3 Allen wrenches right here, smaller, medium, and a larger size. 2 extra O-rings. And then what they did here for the Series 2 is they came up with a very specialized anti-vibration mounting for your pump that incorporates a silicone rubber mount along with a compression nut, and that's what this is right here. So we have a compression nut and a silicone mount that you would then use these M3 by 6mm screws and of course the appropriate washer to mount to. And so basically what that does is DDC pumps, depending on which model, are known to be pretty vibration prone, a little bit louder, so you certainly want to prevent any of that from vibrating through your case. So they've come up with a unique design here that helps isolate your reservoir housing with the pump mounted to it from your case. So again, we'll show you how that goes together and how they're used, and we'll do that here coming up shortly after we take a close-up look at the pump. Alright, here we have the Monsoon Series 2 DDC Premium Dual Bay 5¼ inch Bay Reservoir. Construction of this guy is solid, completely solid. You see basically it's in 3 pieces for the body. You have the front face plate with the glass front, and this is aluminum. This front bezel is all aluminum. Nice, clean, beautiful finish and trim on here, very classy looking. The body is solid. It's actually 40% filled molded, 40% glass filled molded nylon main body, and that's both these 2 pieces are made of that. And then you see here all the blue accents. That is the color for this particular unit that I got, but you can get so many other colors. You can get all black, red, green, you name it. Performance PCs has them all, so I'll put a link up in the description and you'll be able to see all the different colors you have. And then of course here on the back you have here the pump cover for the DDC pump, and that is also in this nice anodized aluminum blue color, along with all of the plugs and the Allen head screws that are in the body of it. They all match. And the other thing that you'll find is the 2 plugs in the top, and they note here for limited time only are these silver antimicrobial plugs. So they're not going to be available forever, but if you buy them now, they will come with your Monsoon Series 2 DDC Premium Dual 5¼ inch Bay Reservoir. We have here plenty of points for mounting, and I'm going to take you through that when we assemble. We have standard 5¼ inch Bay mounting points, and then we have here, depending on how you're going to use the pump, you have your in and out ports, inlets for your coolant flow. And then connected up to it we have your Molex power to power the LED board, which actually is mounted in the bottom. I had one of the Series 1 reservoirs, and they actually had the circuit board for that mounted in the top, but of course if you had any overflow or any coolant, it could short out and cause a problem with it. So they used what lessons learned, and they mounted it in the bottom, and they have power going to it physically separately. And then we have buttons here on the front, and again I'll show you how they operate to show you the various colors that you can get displaying your coolant inside your reservoir. So let's take this apart a bit and assemble a pump to it. Alright, now we're ready to assemble the pump into the Monsoon Series 2 DDC Premium Dual Bay Reservoir. Of course, in order to do that, you need a pump, and this pump is the DDC Premium, so I need a DDC pump. And we have the Lang DDC-1T right here, although any of the other DDC pumps, that is the form factor pump size. So I'm going to go ahead first and take the pump out of the box, and then take the pump out. In order to do that, you're going to take out these 4 screws on the bottom of the pump housing. That removes the top and exposes the pump and the pump's O-ring. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Let me get the wrench. We have the screws removed, and now remove the top of the pump. And here you have the pump installed here, along with the O-ring that sits right around the pump here. And see if I can have to. There's the O-ring right here, and the pump. So we have them separated and apart here. Next thing we're going to do here is, when we have the pump ready, we got to get the reservoir ready. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the 4 screws here. But before we can do that, you notice they already pre-installed everything for us, and to make sure that everything fit and that there were no problems with thread. So they tested that and left it assembled. And the fact that the LED power comes out the bottom of this cap, you have to depin this Molex connector so that you can remove the connector housing and then slide it through. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now with a Molex pin removal tool. And so I have the pins removed. The housing here I'll just put to the side. And they also provide a nice rubber grommet here to help keep the cable in there. And then the screws will have to be removed using the right Allen wrench that they provide. And we have the cover, and we have the pump removed. And I have the pump now installed in the right spot. And since we also have the Molex power on the Molex connector, we're going to go ahead and remove that as well. Now, one of the things you notice here is that the pump requires a 12 volt and ground. The LED board, you can see, has red, requires 5 volt and ground. So rather than have 2 leads coming out of your housing, you can very easily pin them together in one connector, and that's what I'm going to do. So we'll have one Molex power connector coming from your power supply that would power, or your fan controller, or however you want to power this, but you would just have them installed in the proper positions, and you'd be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the pins from this housing. You pop the pins through for each pin and put that aside. Now this enables you then to feed this through. You can also sleeve these cables, as you know, Monsoon provided a nicely sleeved cable here for the LED lead. You can also sleeve these if you like, but the key is you're going to put them through, and then if you like, you can actually, since this is a 12 volt and ground, and you have 5 volt and ground for the LED, you can actually put them together into one connector, the one that came with it, if you like, and you would have then just one power lead coming from your power supplier, wherever you're going to supply power to this from, to power up the pump and the LED board and the reservoir. Now, the other lead that you need to also take off here is this the RPM lead so I don't think it'll fit through here. So yes, we need to get a tool, pop out the pin. All right, so now that we have all of the leads removed, I'm just going to go ahead and remove this tie. And we'll put all of these through the plate here. All right. Now, as you can see, I have the pump positioned here. I have the power leads facing down just as I do here, and then I left the O-ring that came with the pump is still in the pump in the cavity that it belongs in. So now what I'm going to do is slide this over top. Alright, and I guess one of the things to note is when you put the power leads through, you see I have one of them, the RPM lead is pinched, so you want to make sure and you pull the leads through in the cavity here that they have designed for the leads. So I'm just pulling them through nicely and evenly now, and make sure that there's some slack for them to sit in here. Alright, now we have the pump set inside here, and now it's, there we go. Now we have it all flush right here. I'll put the screws in. Okay, so we have the pump installed with the pump cover. We have the leads coming out. I'm going to do now is reinstall the RPM lead. That is its own connector. So I'll go ahead and reinstall that. Alright, we have the, and then what I'm going to do here for this is, as we said, I'm going to go ahead and install all of these leads together into one housing. Alright, so in order to install the, you want to install them properly, pin number 1 in a Molex connector, and this particular connector is labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, is the 12 volt lead, which is yellow, and then the ground for it is pin 2, and then pin 3 is 5 volt ground, and then pin 4 is the 5 volt lead. So those go side by side here. And here we have then all 4 pins coming from the Monsoon for the LED board and for the pump, all powered in one connector. And then we have our RPM lead separate. Alright, so here we have, and then we can also put our very nice grommet back around these leads, fit back towards inside of the pump area. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the reservoir real quick. One of the things that I didn't mention when we were looking at it first out of the box is all of these chambers here are baffles. They're designed to help prevent any noise. The other thing to note out here too is in the accessory package, you notice they gave 2 large O-rings. Now these are D5 size O-rings, and the reason why they have them is because this pump, the front portion and the front bezel plate, that's the same whether you have a DDC pump or a D5 pump. But of course this back block, which is separated for their assembly process, they just put a different, that's a different back plate for a D5 pump, and that's where this accessory kit would come into play with these O-rings. So if you buy the DDC Premium version like I have here, you will not be using these O-rings that come in the kit. So don't be alarmed that you didn't do anything right. The little O-rings, the 2 extra ones they have here, they provide those in case you're going to replace any of these plugs they have on here. Now this is the inlet side, and then this is the outlet side. You can use either one. The inlet side I prefer to put up high, and that's what'll feed, fill the reservoir. And then of course the outlet side, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to leave it the way it is because the pump pressure is going to push it out either one of these ports. So it's so we're good there. And next up, what I'm going to do is, before we install this inside of a system, I'm going to show you how to install their specialized anti-vibration mounts. They have this compression nut, and then this is a silicone chamber or a silicone rubber mount, and then you have the Allen head screw, and you also have a washer. Now the way these work here is that you'll put the screw through the washer coming through your case, and they will actually go into this compression nut. So here's the compression nut, and what you do is you insert it inside of the silicone rubber mount. So you just push it in here so you see the backing, and then what you would do is you would mount this inside of this cavity, and there's 4 of them in the that come with the Monsoon. So I'm going to put them in there. There's another one right here. And then the 4th one. So you have them all installed here, and then I'll show you when I put it in, mounted into the case. Then you would use the mounting hardware that comes with it, and they actually give you an extra one of these silicone mounts and the compression nut. So what we have here is the side of the case showing a traditional tower case. This happens to be a Bit Phoenix case that has the toolless mounts that you could slide your 5 1/4 inch devices in, and then push this lever here to lock them in. Now with a reservoir, you can't always do that, and this one you won't be able to do that. So what I do have installed is the silicone rubber mounts, as you can see right here. This is one side of the reservoir, and the compression nuts inside there. So what I'm doing is lining it inside of here, and you can see in this particular case they leave there's a slot that you can actually see the compression nut, so that I can thread my screw into and secure it into the case. So you have the isolation mount with the compression nut inside there, and it would then take any vibration off the case resulting from the pump and the mount here. So I'm going to go ahead and screw that in there, and that's basically how you would mount your reservoir into a case. Very straightforward. All right, and we have here we have the reservoir secured inside the front of this case. Now, I just tightened outside for right now. I'll get the other ones installed in here on this side of the case doing the same thing. And there we have the Monsoon Series 2 DDC Premium 5 1/4 inch Dual Bay reservoir installed. And now what I'm going to do is we'll go ahead and fill it. I have it mounted a little bit lower in this case so that I have plenty of room to get a funnel in here and to fill it up, and then we'll see what it looks like turned on with the LEDs in operation, and we'll hear how it sounds with the pump running and those anti-vibration mounts installed. Well, it took actually no time to fill the loop, and it is extremely quiet. I'll bring the microphone up close so that you can listen for yourself. I feel absolutely no vibration against the case at all. And back behind here we have the inlet of the reservoir on the left being fed, and then here we have the outlet right here coming into the in portion of the CPU block and coming out of the CPU block up to this 240 millimeter radiator, and then the out of the radiator going around and into the in of the reservoir. And I'll put the microphone even inside here, and you can still hear that it is very, very quiet. So as you can hear, that this is a very quiet pump reservoir combo. It looks fantastic, and let's take a look now at the different colors and the operation of this LED switches on the front of the reservoir. So there we have the Monsoon DDC Premium 5¼ inch Dual Bay reservoir installed. I just bled it in this loop, and actually was pretty straightforward. Did not take any time, any problems at all. And the pump, once the water level up around the inlet there, it just sucked it up and sent it through the loop without any issues. Right now I'll step through the lighting. So there are three power settings. This left button has off, a light, and then a bright. And then on the other side here we step through the different colors. So this is a dark blue, looks like a violet or UV, white, red, a yellow or like a lime, and we have a green, a dark green, a light blue, and then our dark blue. And now let me cycle through it with the lights completely off. And I particularly like the way the LEDs shine through the two oval windows at the bottom that the LED light shines through. It puts a great deal of color or light into the reservoir. And I think it has a great effect. It looks good. So there you have it, guys. That's the Monsoon Series 2 DDC Premium Dual 5¼ inch Bay Reservoir. The construction of that is solid. You can feel it in the heft and the way that it's assembled. They actually give it to you assembled, so it's pretty straightforward to take apart and add your pump to it. The glass front is solid, nice and clear, and it has the nice LEDs that are now mounted in the bottom as opposed to the original version, so that the lighting comes through very bright, and you saw that in the demo that I showed you with all of the various colors. And the front black bezel is very, very sharp and very classic and elegant looking, in my opinion. And they also give you color matched plugs for the pump mount housing in the back. And the pump mount housing also supports the LED power cable, which is already braided and with a nice black plug at the end, and allows you to be able to feed your cables easily through from the pump and the LED out the back of that housing. So very nice design. You see there are a number of chambers around the body of the reservoir that help deaden any vibrations or any noise. And then they also add the silicone rubber mounts that you would use with your captive stud to be able to secure to your case and not transmit any vibrations through. And also, if you listened, I did put the microphone in there so you can tell that it is a virtually silent pump reservoir operation. So I highly recommend it. It is a sharp looking reservoir. And also, you know, Monsoon makes the Mod My Toys carbon fiber accented fittings that you saw I used a couple of, and I have a few of them behind me, and there are a number of different color matchings that you can use to match up with your particular reservoir and color scheme. And the other thing that's beautiful about this is that you know, if you got red, blue, green, UV, you don't have to buy different lights to be able to highlight that. All you have to do is select the right color combination from the LED switch in the front, and you can set it at a low intensity or bright intensity, and then you can pick the particular colors that you saw there. So, you know, I could hardly find, really, I can't find any problems with this reservoir. The one thing that I would actually say is they provided a couple of antimicrobial plugs that you mount in the top of the reservoir. Now, those are freebies, so I really can't complain about them, but since they're in the top, you just got to keep your coolant level up so that the you know, those antimicrobial plugs are touching your coolant. That's about the only thing that I could say that you know, you might want to think about. But since they're free, you're going to have to put silver coil or biocide or get your own plugs anyway, and you can put those actually anywhere in your loop. So that's a little minor nit, but other than that, I got to tell you, you know, if I'm thinking about a rating system, and for Ron's a nut, I would say 5 out of 5 nuts is what I would give it. And the cost for it is reasonable. It's $94.95 from Performance PCs. And if you compare that to some other dual bay reservoirs that you can get out there, they're much more expensive. They break the $100 mark for those. So I have no problem feeling that that is a good value for what you get there. So I hope you liked this review. If you did like it, please like and favorite. And if you're so inclined, please subscribe. I'd like to thank Performance PCs for giving me the opportunity to review this for you. And by all means, guys, if you're interested, I'll put links underneath the description so that it can take you there, and you can have a look at the whole range of the Monsoon dual bay reservoirs that are available. And then while you're at it, you know, take a peek over at the fittings too to get a good matching combination for you. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. That's it from Ron's a Nut.